Marcel, from your perspective, watching the film, what did you see out of your defense?
3/4 of decent football and 1/4 of unacceptable football. That's the best way for me to explain it.
What was the difference between what they did for 3/4 and what they did for the fourth quarter?
Tackling number one, I thought. Technique at times, doing their job. Certain calls I could have made that would have helped them out a little bit as well. So it's not just one person. It's all of us as a whole.
Yeah, I know you're obviously, you've praised Dante Dion throughout fall camp, and it seemed like the turning point somewhat in that game was that drive that he had to come out and he missed the final 21 plays. How important is he to that, to the team, to the defense?
He's important to our defense, but when a guy goes down, in this game you're going to have injuries, and so anytime a guy goes down, you have to have somebody who can play.
How would you kind of evaluate how Moxie did?
Play well, he played well at times, and I think as a whole, each individual needs to get better. I don't think there was anybody out there that was great, but he played well.
You expecting to have downtown Saturday?
I hope so. I hope he'll be ready to play on Saturday.
How much of a loss was Tyler in the middle there? It seemed like once he went out, that was part of what contributed to some of those problems. Maybe it wasn't cause and effect, but
Right.
Not having him in the middle was certainly a big loss.
Yeah, Horn's a guy that's he's played a lot for us. He's a guy that knows exactly what he's doing. He's a good player. He's that habit for us in the middle. So him going down, it hurts. But I thought the guys that came in for him, they played well for us.
Turner's the guy who showed up a couple
Turner
times
played well,
in the middle of the game. What did you see out of him?
He was actually one of the guys that I thought shined a little bit. So he's a guy that he'll get better. That being his first game, and for him to play the way he played, I thought was good for us.
With him, is there going to be, the first game he played junior college ball, and now he's playing against an SEC defense, and we saw him get in the backfield a couple times. Impressed by his ability to kind of show up almost immediately?
I am impressed. He's a kid that's always in his building. He watches a ton of film. I think he loves the game. He's always asking, me questions. He's always asking Coach Ivo those questions, Coach Caldwell questions. So he's a guy that just loves to play.
Coach Harsin said you didn't know the final prognosis yet on Horn, but if he is out for an extended period of time, how will that affect things, and how big of a loss will that be?
Our motto here is that the next guy has to be ready to play. So hopefully he's fine, but if he's out, then we still have to play a game.
How do you think, kind of on that note, how do you think McCaskill came? He's kind of the guy that took the majority of the snaps once Lawrence went out. And how do you think he played? He might kind of the guy be behind McCaskill, I suppose, maybe.
McCaskill, Elliott Hoyt, Albert Ash. I said it before, we probably have more depth at the D-line than we have in the past. So, I think that we have some guys that can play for us, in those spots.
Elliott didn't even get in the game. Just wasn't ready to go, or didn't need him in that game, or why did he not play?
I thought he played a couple snaps. I'm not sure on that.
He played 5.
Yeah, he played a few snaps.
Okay.
Yeah, so he
Stats
played.
said he didn't. So.
Yeah.
You did a good job against the run.
Right.
And Colorado State has shown they like to run the ball, at least in their first game against Colorado. Does this give you confidence going into that game?
Not really, because it's a different running style. Ole Miss was more of a spread, and more of a little bit of downhill, but more on the outside. These guys are trying to hit you in the mouth, so you're going to see more tight ends, more 2, 3, 4 tight end sets, more downhill, try to hit you in the mouth a little bit. So it's a little different style. So we need to show up and play hard and fast.
And they got two guys again, and it doesn't, Hart comes out, the other guy had over 100 yards too.
Right. These backs are good now. The quarterback does a great job too. He runs our system very well. He's feisty. Keeps a lot of things with his feet. Alive with his feet. So he runs the system very well.
We obviously know what you think of Sunday Gardner. You need to get in the game, and just one. How do you put him in a position to kind of embrace an opportunity or
you know, that's just one of those deals that going into a flow of a game, kind of, you know, you got a veteran in Jeremy that was playing into a flow, you know, and so you know, he'll get in the game, I'm sure, here pretty soon. But just the kind of the flow of a game, and as a coach, you know, sometimes you just feel like, okay, I don't want a certain kid out there in a certain spot, you know, and let him hurt himself or not have him out there playing. So, you know, he's a guy that he'll play. You know, he'll play for it. It's a long season, so he'll play.
Your safeties, they played every play of the game. You obviously like what you saw from him. I mean, Darian's pick at the back of the end zone.
Right.
That was incredible.
Yeah, good play by him. They played, you know, decent. Like I said, we still need to get better as a defense, you know, and to me it goes back to, you know, with at the end of the third quarter, the score was 7-6, and you know, 28 points in the fourth quarter is unacceptable, you know, for our side of the ball, and so to me, you know, I can't really praise anybody until we understand that we want to be a dominant defense, you know, finish out those type of games.
Was the effort the same in the fourth quarter as the first three?
It was the same. I just thought it was more missed tackles than it was. You know, the effort is there. I just thought, you know, playing smart and finishing out plays, you know, the way that we did the first three quarters wasn't there. You know, and I don't know if that was, you know, I don't know if we thought mentally that we could play that well for 4 quarters. You know, I don't know if our defense was surprised by that and didn't think that we could do that. But I think now they believe that we can play 4 quarters, and it's up to me to get us to do that.
I think you kind of touch on it right there. I mean, you can have confidence and belief, but obviously results are one thing. So what makes it truly good defense, the one that, you know, I guess does finish those games? You know, a couple of years ago, the defense that was here, I mean, the BYU game, I mean, they kind of knew it was on them at one point in time.
Right. Just that belief that you can play with guys for 4 quarters, you know, and just over time, I think it'll come, you know, and it'll be interesting to me to see how our team comes out tomorrow on the field, you know, and how they go. I think you're going to see a team is going to go hard and go every play and just get better. You know, the thing about a good team is when you go from week 1 to week 2 to see how much you progress from week 1 to week 2 is a big key. So I'm excited. You know, I can't wait to get them out there and you know, and see them play, because I do still think there's another level that we can go as a team, you know, and like I said, we played well for 3 quarters, but we just didn't finish that fourth quarter.
But you see out of Cleon Page, his first full game as a starter, really his first time he's played a full game.
Right, you know, and that's the nature of being a DB. You know, like you said, you can play well 3 quarters, and then the fourth quarter, you know, you make a couple bad plays here, and then you feel, you know, you don't feel good. But he played well. I thought his tackling was well. You know, he made some plays out in space, you know, that kind of was good to see. You know, I thought we were physical. You know, I thought we ran to the ball hard. You know, and those plays that we were making, you know, in the first 3 quarters, we didn't make in the fourth quarter. To me, it came down to missed tackles. Honestly, if you really look at it, you know, just get guys down and just give us a chance to get back up. You know, and when you go back, the last 10 plays of the game is like night and day.
Page was one of the few guys in the secondary you didn't know when you got here. What was your first impression when you got to know him a little bit?
Him being from LA and me being from LA, he was one of the, you know, he came up to me and said, "Hey, Coach, I'm from LA." So he told me he was from LA. I told him it meant nothing to me if you couldn't play. But you know, me and Coach Brown, we kind of hit him up on some things that he needed to do this summer, and he did those things for us. And so, you know, he showed us that he can play for us.
Nobody likes to lose, but how do you think that your players on defense responded to it mentally and emotionally? How have they reacted?
Like I said, I think before the game, I wonder if they really knew how good they could be, and I think after this game they know. You know, and I'm gonna push them now to be a 4-quarter team, and I think playing against a team in the SEC and me being in the SEC, people need to realize those games are 4 quarters, and they're dog fights. And so, Ole Miss obviously understood that because their defense fought for 4 quarters. I mean, it was a defensive game, you know, and their defense won the 4th quarter for them, and our defense has that mentality that every game our offense isn't going to score 40 points. You know, and going back to 06, You know, when I first stayed here, you know, I said that I was tired of Boise just being known as an offensive school, and we're going to score 40 or 50 points in our sport teams. You know, we need to change the mentality around here that if our offense doesn't score 40, we can step up and win the game on defense.
You talked about missed tackles. The play that stands out to me is the little slant.
Right.
Looked like two guys went to try to strip the ball, and nobody really worried about tackling.
Right. You know, and just get them down. You know, if we get them down, I think they have the ball on the 40 and just give us a chance to just get back up and play football.
Kind of late in the game too. Like, again, you could hear on the broadcast them saying Carson Warren, the quarterback's like picking on the back shoulder throws.
Right.
I guess just why was that an effective, play? I guess by Ole Miss down the stretch.
That was something that they never showed on film. That was something new that they did. You know, and most quarterbacks, I guess, if you're taught that the DB is on top and throw it back shoulder. So they did a good job with a veteran, a senior QB. They obviously worked on that in the offseason, and I mean, he did it well. And so, because we had a lot of guys who were in good shape, and that back shoulder just kept hurting us.
I know that quarterback competition was obviously pretty fierce. Where's kind of Brian Douglas kind of in the mix right now? I mean, he got on the field, I think 7 snaps for the
Right.
game, and it was all kind of later. But where's he kind of fitting in?
He's going to play for us. You know, like you said, it's football, and it's a lot of people on his team that's going to have to play for us. You know, he'll be a guy at some point. He'll probably be in the rotation, and he'll play a lot more plays. So you can't give up on any one guy and say, okay, he's not playing this a long season. And, he'll play for us.
You look at Colorado State last year. What hurt Boise State from them was their pass game. What do you see from that group coming in this game? That Grayson, obviously, what kind of targets does he have?
They're very talented. Number 84, number 25, those players are good players. They have about 4 or 5 receivers that all caught, passes. They use their backs too effectively, and what they'll do is they'll dump them off to the backs. They'll take you guys, they'll spread, right, and have guys head upfield, and then have that space with those backs and try to get you, in space. And so they'll use that effectively. But the quarterback is the key. He runs that system well. So if we can stop the run, and we'll see how we'll do from there.
Time for 2 more guys.
When you're kind of watching Colorado State, I know that you guys have been obviously in the Mountain West the last couple of years, but you see a team that you talk about your defense starting to believe in itself. Do you see an offense that's starting to believe in itself over there?
Colorado State, yes, same thing. They're well coached. The coach does a good job. Their O-line is getting better. They're starting to gel, obviously. They're probably they're feeling pretty good about themselves from the win they just had. And so they'll come in here, sky high.
Last one. Extra couple of days playing that Thursday game. How much does that help, or is it just kind of maybe a little bit of a bonus?
It helps. It helps just to watch the film a little bit, and it stings a little bit because you lost the last game. So for that, to watch football Friday, and Saturdays, and watch other teams play, watch other teams win, and know that you just lost a football game, I think always stings. So I think these guys will be, to me, if they're not ready to go out there tomorrow, then we have an issue. So.
All right, thanks, Mike.